Today's show is brought to you by 3C. Comprehensive Cannabis Consulting helps clients design, build, and optimize their cannabis business from initial assessment and planning through operationalization and ongoing management. To learn more about how their services are tailored to meet the unique goals and objectives of each of their clients, go to 3ccannabis.com. And for a limited time, 3C is giving all MJBulls listeners an additional 10% off their fees just for mentioning that you heard it on the show. Go to 3ccannabis.com.
We have bud tenders. Sometimes they walk around with their own iPad that shows what the in-house store is, or we put iPads in the lobby, and that kind of, has taken a dead space where people are just sitting there looking at magazines, and now they're shopping before they even go inside.
From Bummin' It Media, it's the MJBulls Podcast, a show about raising cannabis capital. I'm Dan Humiston, and on today's show, how this cannabis entrepreneur has organized all the cannabis strains, their cannabinoid profiles, their terpenes, and their effects into one simple-to-use tool. We are joined by David Schacter, CEO and co-founder of Cannabiscope. David, welcome to the MJBulls Podcast.
Thanks, Dan. How you doing?
Doing great. So the good news about cannabis is it is so complex that there are essentially different strains for almost every intended result. And most people know about the pain relief and getting high, but we're really just scratching the surface. There's so many variations. Do you want to relax? Do you want energy? Do you want to be focused? Do you want to sleep? And that's not even to mention the different aromas and flavors. And, I will say this to you, David, to the average person, it's becoming overwhelming. So tell us how Cannabiscope simplifies this complex plant.
Okay, so within cannabis, there's the testing that's being done is for the cannabinoids, THC, CBD, CBN, CBG. These are characteristics within the plant, but there's also terpenes, which are the aromas that come from it. And there's terpenes in everything in nature, orange peels and pine. If you walk through the forest, you get this alpha pining effect. So strains that are bred specifically have very distinct smells that are skunky and woody and fruity. So it's the smells along with the THC and CBD values that make it different. It's not just highest THC. It really comes down to what do you want as far as smell. And when you can't open the bag because everything's prepackaged or you order online, you don't get that ability to smell it. With lab testing and with these characteristics, Cannabiscope uses a really simple interface. You can click through the wheel and find things based on smell preferences, aromas, or the effects that it can have.
I'm at the website right now. If you can visualize this, it's essentially like a big wheel with a lot of different options on the outside of the wheel. So one of my options is mental or physical. And I say, okay, I want to click on the mental one. And then it gives me all my options within the mental. I could select a strain that's euphoric or creative or calming. In this case, I'm going to select one that says focus. So I click on focus and then it brings me up a bunch of options. I mean, it is so simple.
So the information, these strain profiles, they're somewhat out there. It was just a matter of matching what the flavor aspects are and with the health aspects. So it's somewhat two sides, as you click into health and mood and behavior, and mental or physical has more sleep and digestion.
Yeah. So, if I click on physical and I was like, you know what, I need some pain relief. There's a spot here that says relief. So I click on relief. And it gives me a half a dozen options that would help with pain. It's just that simple. Now, if I went into a dispensary, you have partner dispensaries already out there. This wheel is available right in the dispensary. So I can just kind of work my way through it. And it's linked to the products that are in that location. Is that how it works?
Yeah. So every business, they can put it on their logo. And it's their customized wheel, so it shows whatever they have in-house. So when patients come in, instead of looking at 101 products, when you go into pain relief, here are the 5 or 6 that are known for that. So it really narrows it down for the customer. We have bud tenders. Sometimes they walk around with their own iPad that shows what the in-house store is, or we put iPads in the lobby. And that kind of, has taken a dead space where people are just sitting there looking at magazines, and now they're shopping before they even go inside.
Yeah, I was just looking at Planet 13, which is, from what I understand, the largest dispensary in the world. It's in Las Vegas. I just popped open their wheel.
They put a big screen TV, so when people are walking around, it's this life-size interactive menu, and stays updated with their product pages. Also, lab results. Nevada has very strict lab testing that you have to present. So it's what terpenes and cannabinoids, not just THC, CBD, but a full list.
Looking down the list of all the dispensaries, I mean, I can essentially place my order online, almost like Starbucks, go to the dispensary to pick it up. You just cash out. Everything's already taken care of because you can use each one of these dispensaries' personal wheel right online. It's so simple.
So dispensaries, about 5 to 10% is online orders, and we want to increase that for them. It speeds up the line, especially with returning patients. They know what they want. They're coming back, so if it's in your wheelhouse to be able to order again, that's where we want to get to.
We're just talking about dispensaries right now, but cultivators, they can have all of their products on this wheel, which is really cool. What I find interesting here is doctors can use the wheel to help their patients. I want to take a minute to tell everyone about an exciting free opportunity that one of our former guests, Good Harvest Company, is offering retail operators and cannabis brand managers in the adult use market. Good Harvest Company is preparing to launch their platform, which uses customers' buying and shopping behaviors to help brands effectively reach their customers. And for a limited time, Good Harvest Company will offer participating companies free access to their data in return for their feedback. To learn more, go to goodharvest.co. Well, the other thing about your business that I think is sort of under the surface right now, but there's a ton of information that you're collecting right now. This is crazy, all the information that you have access to, not just about the plants, but also about consumer behavior. You can kind of tell what people preferences are before the purchase.
Yeah, that's new territory we're going into in the sense of we know what people are looking for. The POS systems, they know what you bought. They know the customer profile, the CRMs. The cannabis industry is doing a pretty good job of recording what's happening, but it's being able to predict what's going to happen, what they're looking for. And that's important for brands because if you're going to buy clones or buy seeds, you should buy these particular ones. This is what's selling. That
right there, I think, is a game changer. As you accumulate more and more of this data, it's going to be so valuable to brands and to advertisers. Well, let's talk about where you're going with this product and what's next in the horizon for you.
So we opened up the platform and we allowed all businesses to create their own wheel. That's manual input to put in their scores, to put in their lab results, and put in their prices. Next stage is connecting to the point of sale system so that it's automated the feed. And that's the next big step because then when you go into a store, this is exactly what they have on their shelf. Not, oh, I saw it online, but when I got here, it wasn't available. It's a big problem in the industry still. Mm-hmm. But as the POS systems are now reporting live data because the wholesale and retail taxation and distribution, it's public record. These lab results, the pricing, it's just not being displayed anywhere. And I think someone built a better mousetrap in showing the consumers what's in the products that you're buying, especially for adult use.
Up to this point, you've just been doing this all sort of bootstrapping your way through this. And now you're at that point where you're going to open up a seed round to raise a little bit of cash. Is that the plan?
Yeah. So we're looking for strategic partners who can take us and scale it up because it can be across the country and internationally. As a tech company, we're a SaaS model. So we don't provide any hardware. If you have your own tablets, or you have your own iPad, you buy your own TV, and then we provide the software part of it.
And how much are you raising?
We're looking to raise $1 million, $5 million evaluation. So give 20%. We have it laid out with our sales plan of how that's going to be implemented for marketing. The platform's built. It's a matter of service and operations now.
Yeah. I mean, you did all the hard stuff. You've done all the heavy lifting. Now it's just getting market share. That's really what you're after right now is you got to get in this great idea in front of people. That's the key right now. David, great job simplifying cannabis. I really appreciate you being on the show with us today and telling us about this way of solving this really, really complex problem. I think it's going to be well received.
Thanks, Dan. And we're not doing this on our own. Every time we add a seed company, it's, hey, these are your strains. How do you want it classified? With the brands, same way the dispensary. So it's customized products for each store. And it has to work with the POS systems and with the CRMs. This isn't something that we can do on our own. So we're looking for those partners. And thank you for the podcast, because I've reached out to some of your post guests and contacted them. And so we appreciate you giving the opportunity to be on MJBulls. And thank you, Dan.
You're welcome. It's great to have this little ecosystem of former guests. Again, David, good luck, and let's stay in touch, okay?
Will do.
Let me take a second to thank Trevitt Hill for sponsoring today's show. Cannabis investors expect big returns from the companies that they invest in. Unfortunately, not all cannabis investments succeed. Trevitt Hill's management team works with investors to help turn around, or in some cases purchase, their underperforming portfolio companies. To learn more, go to trevitthill.com. Thanks for listening to the MJBulls Podcast. To learn more about today's guest or to become a guest, visit our website at MJBulls.com. Today's show was produced by Bumminit Media, with original music composed by Jamie Humiston. I'm Dan Humiston, and you've been listening to the MJBulls Podcast.